Hi there. Got your attention, right? Korta Katarina Winery is what we're doing today. This is going to be a very nice and laid back live video tasting with my good, hey, girls drink wine too. Already signing in. Wonderful. And we're going to have a couple of very, very special guests coming to us live from the actual winery, which is going to be very exciting.
Hi, Bojidar.
Hi.
How are you?
Just sending a request to Korta Katarina. I'm doing amazing because guess what? I was at the beach a couple of hours ago.
Can you not rub it in? Because can I tell you what happened yesterday? We had
What?
snow.
You had snow?
We had snow. This never happens in Toronto. Calgary,
Wow.
yes. Toronto, rare, very rare.
Wow. Korta Katarina already here. You guys are efficient. Hi.
Hi,
Welcome.
Catherine and Evo.
Hi.
Good evening, everybody.
Hi guys. So snow in Canada. That's such a stereotype. I'm sorry.
It was flurries. Like, I mean, it melted immediately, but it was still very shocking. Like, we went from a heat wave, turning on the air conditioning, to literally, I think we need our heater, like put our furnace back on.
That's ridiculous. Actually, in all honesty, I went swimming today, and it's
Rubbing it in.
it was a bit cold. I have to tell you. Okay, yeah, but for this time of the year, guys on Pošip, you are going swimming. When the job allows, or not yet?
My husband went swimming today. And
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
So what do you think? Is it cold for you? I mean, the water, because for me it was like I love cold water, but it was kind of chilly for this time of the year, in all honesty.
Very chilly.
Yeah.
There's cold and there's refreshing, right?
Yeah, I don't like it when it's too warm, but I know a lot of people in Dubrovnik are still not swimming. Ivo, are you swimming?
Not yet. No.
Yeah, you see, local people. Excuse me.
I'll wait a week or two more. Don't worry.
Yeah. But it's already sort of late. I mean, this spring has been very weird here as well. Croatian pack, by the way, joining in. Hi guys. Hi Sasha. All right. Can everybody hear me? Yes, and I can hear everybody. So let's not take too much time before we introduce everybody. Diana, my good friend, coming in from Girls Drink Wine 2 and Diana's Healthy Living. Hi, Diana.
Hi.
My name is Bojidar. I run the Wine Lovers Croatia website and Instagram, of course, and I do a lot of other cool things. But really, what's special about this evening is our two special guests from Korta Katarina Winery, Ivo and Catherine. Can you guys tell us a few things about yourself, please?
Go ahead. Hi, I'm Catherine Grothy, and my parents founded Korta Katarina Winery in the late 1990s and had the dream of someday building a state-of-the-art winery and a beautiful villa. And now in 2021, both of those have come to fruition. So they came here with St. David's Relief some years ago to help rebuild some of the schools in the area, and fell in love with the varietals of Pošip and Plavac Mali, and from there their dream has come true. So I'm involved through them, and I do some of the sales and distribution in North America, and that's pretty much about it. And I'll let Ivo tell you a little bit about himself.
Thank you, Kathy. Good evening, everybody. Good evening, Croatia. Good evening, Canada over there. Hi, Sasha. Hi, Bojidar. Thank you all. Hi, Diane, of course. Thank you, all of you, for doing this for us. We are very pleased to join this AG Live for the first time. We're living in very strange times, so we need to use any possibilities to see each other and drink something, at least like this. My name is Ivo, just as you said, and I'm being part of Korta Katarina team for the past 11 years, running the winery last 4, and it's been a long time and a lot of good work, a lot of good wines since then, and we are very proud of what we did all together with the Anderson's family here in Orebić. It is something special, great story about family who discovered Croatia, people, and everything that comes with the wine varieties, terroir. They loved it. They fell in love long time ago. And believe me, when you come here, you can feel all that love when you see the estate. So please, whenever you're around, come, we are dear guests.
Nice. So, welcome once again. This is the thing. Korta Katarina Winery, before we go into actual tasting, which we are going to go into soon, few things about the winery, of course, and about the whole Peleshat story. Korta Katarina Winery is so beautiful. It borders a traffic problem, because whenever you see it at the side of the road, you slow down to get a proper look. And I almost miss my Korčula ferries when I'm going to other beach. So because of the winery, it's a beautiful estate. But it's not just beautiful estate. You guys make some very, very serious wines. So can either one of you, of course, tell me something about the philosophy behind the actual wines? What are you, because I know you're sticking to the traditional varietals, and why not? They are amazing. What's the situation? Are you trying to be something new, reinvent the Croatian varietals, or are you trying to offer traditional approach? Where are you in the whole traditional versus modern side of the scale?
If I may, Kathy.
Go ahead.
Well, I must say first that something that we grow here can be found only in Croatia. So for people coming from abroad, it is very hard to understand for the first time what is Pošip, what is Plavac Mali. That's a goal for us, to make wines that will be recognized not only inside Croatia but also abroad. After the first visits, the family fell in love with the area and they were looking for a perfect spot. I think Pelešac can offer such options, tremendous places to build a winery. And if I may be that open, I think this is the best place to have your winery. We are located in the very entrance to the small town of Forebić, with a long tradition of wine growing, winemaking, and a maritime business. So family truly respected everything that they found here. So speaking of tradition and modern, we have both. Tradition in every way we need to protect. First, with varieties. So we are so proud that we are not producing international varieties. Whatever some other people think, this is our goal. This is the way that we choose to work. Pošip and Plavac Mali are recognized top varieties in Croatia, and really need just a chance to prove that to other people who like good wine. So when you ask about what is our system, what is our philosophy, I would say that tradition needs to be the key, and everything else in terms of modern approach is just technology that we protect. So we had a flying start, if we can describe it that way. Everything that we needed day one to produce premium. Philosophy is very simple in our cellar. All we will have is premium quality wine, so that niche is attacked by us. And I think we did a good job in past 15 years. Winery was founded in 2005. 2006 was the first vintage getting out of our cellar. At that time, we had only Pošip and Plavac Mali. And I will be informative to say that Pošip is coming from vineyards on island of Korčula. Those are cooperative. We don't own vineyards of Pošip. We're buying grapes. And in terms of reds that are king in the castle, speaking of Pelešac, then we own 6 hectares on 2 top appellations called Dingač. Later, with the time, we were doing more and more, opening new markets, creating new labels. So you will easily find our rosé, beautiful bottle and wine across Croatia and several other markets in Europe, in States as well. Then we had a special treat, something that means a lot to the family and to the company. It is called Rubens Reserve. I think, Boži, you have it in front of yourself. That is our way of producing Reserva style, something that is not necessary produced every year. We truly follow the standards, and just in good years we will produce that wine. With the time, we came out with a winemaker selection, another selection of top red, and very recently with Zinfandel. That's a new addition to Korta Katarina portfolio, something fantastic to tell a story about United States and Croatia bonds, about bonds between us and the family over there. And last but not least, we have 2 sparklings that are also possible to taste in our winery. So that would be pretty much it when it comes to the production. Modern approach, yes, in a way, especially for the reds, because Plavac Mali is such a powerful, big red grape. And those wines request a lot of time and patience, but we will discuss that a bit later.
Thank you very much. Now, both for Diana and Catherine, how are these wines, in your experience, how have they been accepted by the North American market? Because, of course, Diana hails from Canada, where it's snowing. And Catherine, you are actually involved in the distribution in the United States, right?
Yes.
So how did you find are Korta Katarina wines, being representatives of Croatian terroir, are those wines something that you need to sort of ease American drinkers into, or is it a very easy transition from what they're used to Croatian wine? What has been your experience so far?
You know, when I started years ago, very few people in my area in the Midwest knew about Croatia or Croatian wines or any of the varietals. But as I traveled throughout the United States, especially in like the Chicago area, in Pennsylvania, down in the Texas area, Louisiana, we're more familiar with the varietals. But over the years in my area of Minnesota and Minneapolis and that kind of western area, I've really introduced the Croatian wines and the varietals to the people, so they've been very welcome. But it did take quite a bit of time educating them and getting them to try, because they did not know the names of the varietals. So I think now they're very received, and there have been so many articles written on the wines with wine enthusiasts and Decanter and you know, other publications throughout the United States and internationally. But I think there's really quite a buzz over the last couple of years. And with COVID, you know, I think tourism really slowed things down. But I think right now, especially, people are very excited to export to Croatia and taste more of the wines and see more of the culture. But it did take quite a bit of time to introduce the wine. I think now they're quite popular, and I think people are really excited about them and the country itself. So,
right, nice. And Diana, what about you? What about your guys and girls from Canada? What's the situation?
Well, everybody knows Croatia is a beautiful country, and unfortunately, a lot of people were not really aware that Croatia produces wine. I think mainly because there wasn't a lot of wine exported to Toronto. Maybe we had, well, Ontario, Canada in general, maybe we had a handful of wines exported, but that's changed now. Obviously, with Croatia Unpacked is bringing all these Croatian wines to the community here, and it's really starting to create, like you said, Catherine, a buzz around indigenous grapes. You know, again, it's the names people haven't heard of, Pošip and Plavac Mali and all these other grapes. So it's really become people are very curious as to these wines. It will take obviously time for them to become known, but it's definitely, we're in an awareness stage right now where people are becoming aware that Croatia produces wine. It's exporting wine here to Canada, and it's readily available through Croatia Unpacked or through our LCBO, our liquor stores here in Ontario. So hopefully, you know, I always get messages saying, thanks so much for posting about Croatian wine. I did not even know that Croatia produced wine. So I'm excited about it. You know, my background is Croatian. My parents are from Croatia, so I'm excited to see Croatian products coming to Canada. So hopefully, I feel like the market's going to explode is how I feel.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been now, unfortunately, again, COVID, messed up my plans as well as everybody else's. So I was supposed to come to United States last year already, or you know, sort of before this summer season in this year, and the idea was to actually do some promotion of Croatian wine as well. because a year ago I went down to Asia to try to promote Croatian wines there, and it was amazing. I met a lot of amazing people. But yeah, in Asia, I mean, I had the same problem where a lot of people didn't know about Croatia at all, being a country, let alone having wine production. And I do run wine tours in the Dubrovnik area, and I have a lot of North American guests, and a lot of them very, very happy about being on a good quality wine tour, having been through a lot of other countries that they know about. And I cannot tell you how many times I had North American guests that would book a tour, and then somewhere along the lines of the tour would tell me, you know what, I actually, I ran into the tour completely by chance through your marketing, and advertising channels or whatever, but I had no idea Croatia produced wine, and I'm a big wine enthusiast, So yeah, it's going to take a bit of time, but I think we're coming to that point where enough people know that it starts some sort of a landslide. And talking about tourism, I think American guests, or North American guests, I should say, are just waiting for those flights to start, because I think everybody's really, really anxious to travel. I know, Diana, you are anxious to come here in August, I believe. Yeah, you're keeping my fingers crossed.
Yes, we actually booked our flight, and we're cat's out of the bag now. We're due to arrive in August for like almost 5 weeks. So we're looking forward to, obviously it's been 2 years since I've been back there, and I have family there, but I'm looking forward to exploring the wineries and now having a deeper appreciation for everything that goes into winemaking in Croatia. I think a lot of people don't appreciate, or don't even realize, like you said, they don't even realize that they have wine, never mind the appreciation of what actually goes into winemaking, and the landscape of wine in Croatia, right? So it'll be nice to actually taste the wine in Croatia, right? Instead of from my kitchen here in Toronto.
Well, yeah, the fact of the matter is, wine always tastes better at the winery.
Of course.
Speaking of, Korta Katarina has a beautiful accommodation and a beautiful restaurant, or is it wine bar, that I have visited a couple of times, and I love very much. But you guys are now basically ready to go full power into both accommodation and food and wine. Can you tell me something about me? Can you tell us all something about that?
Yes, we've been waiting for a couple of years for accommodation to be finished. Now it is one of the most beautiful places where you can stay on the Adriatic, for sure. All the time the winery was working, and we had tons of guests. I think with first flights it will get back to normal. Mid-June we expect a bunch of people coming for tastings, and I think it's starting to normalize. The whole estate offers everything that you possibly can look for. So not only the accommodation, not only wine shop, we have a beautiful tasting room and a wine bar. So you can stop by for a glass, or you can stay with your friends and family for a proper wine tasting. And what we strongly suggest, best way for foreign people who are trying to understand new varieties, new wine, we strongly suggest food and wine paid lunch or dinner at the winery. That is, I would say, the best thing you can do. Then we will guide you through all the details. We'll have plenty of time, and you will certainly enjoy. From our perspective, yes, this was a kind of unexpected time that we all need to survive, and the whole industry was shaken. But what we see last couple of days, everybody has a smile on their face, and I think Božidar, you and all the other guys from Dronning just wait for the clients to get into the Chile airport, and we're rocking again. We need just wait maybe 2 more weeks. The vaccination is happening, and it's quite inside the winery. We have different programs. You will like basic tasting, whip tasting, food and wine tasting. So please don't hesitate. Pack your bags, like Diana said. Come, there is no snow. Actually, it was.
Thank goodness.
And of course, we would like to see you end of August and September. You can come help picking the grapes. That would be awesome for us.
So what I love is, so I also run a travel website, Diana's Healthy Living, and I love that Korta Katarina is not just a winery and it's not just a villa. So what is an experience like when someone arrives to Korta Katarina and books, you know, a stay at the villa?
Well, we are part of Croatia too. Family, so stays you can always book, of course.
Yeah,
It's one of a kind place to stay for a couple of days.
it's beautiful.
Surrounding, going probably to Korčula, Mljet, and Dubrovnik, of course. Nobody misses Dubrovnik for a day or two. You can explore our winery and the whole vineyard area just a couple of miles from here. So what you will see on the estate is not just the room and restaurant and wine production. You can literally be inside the vineyard, just around corner, all around winery. We have beautiful vineyard of Zinfandel. That link between us and the United States is growing around winery and telling people what happened a long time ago and how it's coming back home after a long time. Then again, you can book somebody's van and go to see other wineries, which we have a big number of on Pelješac Peninsula, and our first neighbors are Korčula wineries, so the island full of perfect white grape. Don't miss time, just go and drink, taste.
And like Ivo said, we are a 10-suite villa, and we're very, very honored and proud to be part of the Relais Chateau team. So, but also at the winery, or at the villa here, we have a salon downstairs. We have a full spa, indoor sauna spa. You can have a massage done here. Many other events you can do as you go to Korčula. You can, you know, travel there, see that. You can, like Ivo said, you can go to other vineyards and all of that as well. So there's more than plenty to do. So yes.
It sounds like a full-on experience for someone to visit there. It's not just about tasting wine. It's being able to have that full-on experience when visiting the estate.
Here, and we have a bunch of water activities as well that you can do and take day trips as well. So
well, I do see the morning photos that are posted on the Instagram stories, and that's all it takes. Like, okay, book.
It's
we're here in August, Diana.
I'm coming.
So Catherine, you are, well, the owner and manager or co-owner, whatever the situation is. So a lot of responsibility, and I'm guessing a lot of work. Do you get to come here just for fun, or is that not possible?
Oh yes, I mean I come for fun, and we have a wonderful gentleman that takes care of a lot of our operations from the United States. So he comes, and when we come and we've had business, we've had a lot of meetings more about the future and future ideas that we would like to do with the wines and the wine villa. But things are running just impeccably right now. So we're very happy about that. And we have such a wonderful team. So when I do come, we have a couple days of meetings, but otherwise we do get to really enjoy ourselves and partake at lunch in Korčula today, and had a wonderful day. Our winemaker needs now become the mayor of Korčula, so we actually had lunch for today. So we did that and enjoyed a beautiful day there. Yes, so but we get plenty of time to relax and enjoy a little bit as well.
Nice. What a lot of our viewers probably don't know when it comes to Croatia, or this part of Croatia, is we keep talking about Korčula, which is a separate island to Pelješac Peninsula where the winery is. But actually, Orebić, the town where the winery is connected really well with Korčula, and it's a really fast crossing. Ferry goes every hour or so, and it's like a 15-minute ferry over to Korčula. So you have just a perfect place for full-bodied reds or medium to full-bodied reds on Pelješac, and then 15 minutes you go over and you have the most beautiful traditional white wine kingdom, which is Korčula. So if you are going to Korčula, you stop by Korta Katarina winery, you buy a lot of reds, and then you go to Korčula, you have both reds and whites. But yeah, this is a wonderful little part of our southernmost county in Croatia. And yeah, most of my work when it comes to tours is down on Pelješac Peninsula, I don't go up to Korta as much as I would want to. But I did have a few of your wines on my wine tasting tour itinerary that I do within Dubrovnik. So Korta Katarina Rosé has always been my go-to rosé to explain the difference to beginners between rosés and reds and so on and so forth. But yeah, we have 2 wines to taste this evening. Diana, you have your Pošip and Plavac, right?
That's right.
Right. I have received a few more bottles from you guys, so I'm going to later on do that wine tasting for the whole thing, and then I'm going to publish my wine tasting article this coming week on all of the wines. So don't miss that, even if you saw this. But for now, I think we're ready to go tasting. Is everybody okay to do that?
Absolutely.
And I was gonna say, Božidar, I think we should meet at Korta Katarina in like August sometime and taste all these wines together in person.
I'm not sure. It doesn't sound. It doesn't sound. Of course, we should meet. Well, we need to do a tour of Pelješac. If we are going on Pelješac, we're not going to miss Korta Katarina.
No, for sure not. Definitely.
Right. So we're starting with white, and the white is Pošip.
Here's my Pošip bottle.
Yeah, beautiful color. Beautiful color of Pošip. I would say going towards gold.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the best of lighting in here, but yeah, it seems like going towards gold. Ripe lemon towards gold. On the nose, wonderfully spicy and a bit of sweet. I'm getting a bit of vanilla, maybe even a bit of cinnamon. Can you tell us something about the vinification process for this, Ivo?
Yes, of course. So what happens here with this Pošip is a very separate approach, and we wanted to everything in one bottle under one label, meaning we need to keep freshness. That's a must. This is a white wine, and we are in the Mediterranean area. And of course, we need to use the full potential of the grape variety. Something that most of the in 2 labels, perhaps we'll do the same as well in the future. This wine is the answer for everybody who want to feel the Pošip coming from. So half of the wine stays all the time in stainless steel, and half of the wine, that's why you find a little bit of vanilla, will go to the finest French oak for 6 months on sur-lie. After 6 months, we will join those different Pošips. We will blend them, and then we will bottle and keep it for another couple of months inside our winery. So I bet you tasted tons of Pošip, and you can prove what I'm saying. You have such options when it comes to grape. It can be really fresh year-to-year wine, but you can also taste a fantastic Chardonnay-style Pošips, yes. If I may say that.
Yes.
Something in between. We really kept the aromatic profile, so these citrus aromas are very intense in the start, but then you will feel that this is not a basic Pošip. It has the body, it has the aftertaste, even whatever you think, it has a bit of aging potential, no matter it is white. That's why oak is so important in our production. Half of the wine for 6 months is sitting down there, and that will help a lot to get more complexity. And that is the reason why most of Croatian people, I think it is very obvious that this is one of the first picks in terms of Pošip premium segment. And we are extremely
nice. So, time to try, I guess.
Of course. 2019 was a fantastic year. There is such a potential in this wine. Different nice scores coming from the west coast of America. Sommeliers Choice USA Wine Award. So I believe this vintage will be written down as one of the best so far in our business.
Well, I can tell you that I personally, now we're going into subjective. I love the approach because Pošip sometimes is being referred to as sort of a Croatian answer to the Chardonnay, not so much for basic primary aromas, but for the fact that, as you said, you can do a lot with it as a winemaker. And a lot of the times people are going for the fresh and fruity because they know a brunt of their wine is being sold in the summer.
That's right.
And in the summer, the restaurants are full of people wanting to cool off and basically wanting a light white. But we don't get light white grapes because we get so much sun. So there's only so much you can do when it comes to light whites in this part of the country. But then again, some people, in my book, this is a matter of opinion, but some people go overboard with the oaking as well. And then you get this behemoth white wines that are very heavy, which again is not bad if they are balanced well enough for some food pairing. But this I like very much because this is 13.5 alcohol that you cannot, you don't know it's 13.5 alcohol when you drink it. It's a beautifully balanced wine. A lot of primary aromas. We have some peach here, which is definitely something that I always look for when I'm blind tasting for Pošip. Again, a bit of spiciness without a doubt, but it's not overwhelming. Nice medium, I would say, acidity that keeps it very much alive and fresh. And I think I already am talking too much. What do you guys think, Diana, Catherine? Well, I know what Catherine thinks, but
yes, it's fabulous.
Yeah, it's the best.
It's fabulous. It's very. I love that. It's fresh. It's easy drinking, but yet it has that stone fruit flavors and some citrus and floral notes, but it also has a body to it. It has that texture. It's. I love it.
To be honest, people when they're coming to Croatia, they don't expect such a beautiful whites this south in kind of a hot climate.
Right, makes sense.
So it's a very positive thing when they come and they really find out that the south, very south of Croatia, so Dubrovnik area, is actually rich with a couple of fantastic white varieties. Pošip is the leader. There is no doubt at all, and I would say it's the most potent white grape for sure. Still, it needs to stay local. So we need to preserve aromas that we found that we like. And that's why Chardonnay is not the answer to your question before. This is what you just mentioned, Diana. It has a body, but we didn't want oaky nose. We wanted just the barrel as a tool to lift up the quality.
Yeah.
We did it. It is very nice in mouthfeel, very long after. So the oak is perfectly implemented, and that balance is, I think it's perfect.
Yeah, it's very smooth. Like you don't really get the oakiness. You just get that body and that smooth texture of it.
Yeah. Katie just brought up a fantastic idea.
Yes, no, we just enjoyed this with oysters, which just pairs beautifully with it. So we were lucky.
Okay, I'm gonna have to go buy some oysters now.
Right.
This is that's actually a very interesting comment because I wouldn't think about this wine with oysters at first, but actually you're right. A lot of the times oysters actually go really, really well with a bit fuller bodied whites. We always think of acidic and mineral, which makes sense, absolutely. But yeah, I did have a few times I paired oysters with something with a bit more oomph, with a bit more body to it. And when it's done like this, it can be a beautiful, beautiful pairing. So just because you have a cold appetizer on your plate doesn't mean you can deny yourself the experience of a nice medium plus, or even full-bodied white wine. Catherine, is this sort of, we're now talking about personal taste, is this along the lines of what you like drinking at home, or are you more for lighter or heavier whites? Where do you fall on the scale?
No, I love drinking at home, and I think my husband is probably one of the biggest fans. But no, we drink at home, and I, you know, it's not just with seafood or oysters. I do it with, you know, lean white meats, things like that, different and all of that. And but this, I really Pošip and our rosé are probably my favorite. So I love the reds too, but these I can enjoy more without food as well. So
Right.
I love Pošip, and I didn't know anything about Pošip until, you know, we Katarina, but now I've tried like a bunch of different varieties of it, and like you said, you know, some are done in stainless, some are done in oak. We do a combination of both, so I think it's just beautiful. It is the way that the winemaker has done it is just imperfection. So
Yeah, there's a lot to be said about medium-bodied wines, especially when it comes to whites. And this is medium to medium plus, I would say. But it's there's a lot to be said about them, because people are usually falling. You know how it is. People are either black or white, so they only fall in two categories. Either I like my wines light or I like my wines heavy. But there's actually quite a bit of stretch of real estate here, where you can actually have wines that are not just beautiful and tasty, okay, but actually very, very versatile, as you said. I mean, they can take a lot. A wine like this, I used to run a restaurant, and I used to love wines like this, be it red or white, because these are the wines that can bridge a lot of different food. So this happens often when you have, you know, like two couples or three couples, like 4 or 6 people on the table. Everybody's eating different food, but they want one bottle of wine, and they want you to recommend it. And it's very tricky, of course, if the heaviest of foods is much heavier than the lightest. And then you need a bridged wine, with what we used to say in the restaurant, which can, you know, bridge, well, yeah, oysters and lean white meat as well, you know. So nice.
No, it's very versatile, and I'm converting my neighbor. She told me when I open this bottle, so I'm bringing her a glass of your Pošip. So I'll let you know how she loves it.
Nice. You know what? I don't think a lot of my neighbors see this channel, because if they knew how many times I come home with practically full bottles of wine and not call them up, I think they would take it as offense.
Interestingly, though, my neighbor is Croatian, and again, they're, you know, not aware that so many wines are available. And I actually told her I was opening up Korta Katarina this weekend, and she's like, "Okay, I need to try it." I'm like, "No problem, I'll set you up."
Nice. By the way, while we're talking, I can still feel this wine in my mouth. It's quite a long finish.
It's a serious white, and there is, just like you said, a perfect occasion for somebody who doesn't know much about Croatian wine and likes a good stronger whites. Then Pošip, this kind of Pošip, this style, perfect choice. And since you're coming from restaurant industry, then you understand what kind of good wine you have on the list, and what can you solve all the problems with a bottle like this. So it is, like I said before, refreshing, no matter what we are saying now about medium plus, still perfectly refreshing at hot summer evening in Dubrovnik, but also all this body and the oak influence that is inside the bottle of KK Pošip means that this is a serious white that you can offer without any problem to wine lovers from all over the globe. That's what we know from business.
Yeah. Putting together a wine list in a restaurant is always tricky, because, especially if you like wine, because you want to put everything on there, and you can't do that. You have a very limited, actually. When you separate it all into, you know, all the categories, sparkling and whites and rosés and reds and maybe orange wines and dessert wines, you actually end up with quite a few choices in each of the categories. So versatile wines are actually very, very important for restaurants. So restaurants should take note of this wine if they're thinking about Korta Katarina wines, without a doubt.
Thank you.
Good. You know what? I'm thinking about more things to say just so I can continue sipping on this one. But I think we need to go over. I think we need to go over to Plavac Mali. Yeah.
Okay.
Here's my bottle. I decanted my bottle earlier today. I don't know if you saw my stories.
Yes. I decanted only a glass, so you are way more ambitious than I am.
Well, my husband's like, we're drinking this tonight.
Right. So, Catherine, you said you're more likely to drink white and rosé at home than Plavac when it doesn't come with food.
Right.
Was Plavac, now this is tricky for me to ask, because if you were just just some person from North America, it would be very different. But you know your stuff about Croatian wines, obviously. But was there a period of adjustment for you when you started drinking or tasting on a regular basis Plavac Mali because of high tannins? Or was this something that your palate was already used to?
No, not so much. It's a very different varietal. It's beautiful, but it is a varietal that I do suggest that people pair with food for sure. So, yes, but no, but it was, something that I think that took a little bit of time for my palate to adjust to. But now that I drink this and I drink a lot of Pošip and all that, I can tell right away what wine is what. But no, but now, I mean, it's beautiful. And I think, like you said, with a little bit of decanting or a little bit of age, I'm still drinking a lot of older vintages, which a lot of them we don't even sell anymore, but they age so beautifully that, the tannins really settle and smooth over the years as well. Suggested decanting with the Plavac.
Right. Yeah, this is actually 2012 vintage. So this has been aged for quite a while. We're talking medium plus intensity on the color. Beautiful ruby color, but with definite signs of aging. So yeah, very inviting color if you know your wines. On the nose, yeah, on the nose. Well, there's fruitiness there, but there's a lot more other very, very interesting aromas there. We do have some lovely dried fruits as well, sun-dried fig, carob. We have our blackberry, plum, licorice, a bit of licorice. Very, very, very inviting. I'm getting a bit of tobacco as well. Maybe a hint of aging as well.
Yes, the first notes of tertiary aromas are coming out with tobacco, maybe a little bit of leather as well.
Yes, yes.
I would say that for sure you will feel a terroir here. So this is who we are. Red Plavac Mali. That is something spectacular on this peninsula where we are coming from. What you just pour in your glasses is made from best grapes coming to top appellations. So Dingač and Pošip, I think that all of your clients, when you take them to the tours, wine tours, they are stunned when you pass through the Dingač tunnel, when you show them where exactly this is coming from. So for everybody's better understanding, you need to witness what kind of vineyards we are growing to have this in our glass. It's hard to say it's business, it's more sport when you go with that vineyards. So the yields are so small, you can't expect that you will have tons of grapes. It is very depending on the year, on the climate. And all these aromas that you mentioned are there, plus many others. So when you take a good sniff, I would say that you can feel the macchia that is growing all around the vineyards. So this is cruel environment, but in the end, wherever you put this Plavac Mali grape, try to find the worst possible place, it will give you the top result. It is very specific here in our area, how much the micro-location is doing such a different wines. And when you go and you taste the wines from different wineries, from different positions and vineyards, you will realize what kind of potent grape we have in our vineyards here on Pelješac. Not only Pelješac, but specifically Pelješac is considered to be the best area for growing Plavac Mali. I really need to say that this micro-location is a key difference. There is a reason why over 50 years ago, those two were protected as the first places in the former country of Yugoslavia, the premium quality. So it is a fight to get land over there. It is a fight to preserve the grapes from the birds, from the everything that comes around. And then in the end, you still need to be patient. You were discussing the tannins. You need time. You can't buy time. You need time, both in the oak. This one was over a year in the oak, and then we always double the time at least in the bottle before it goes out of the winery. So you need time to get it smoother, to have all those tannins polymerized, we say. So I think investment in Plavac Mali pays off with the time, especially for Plavac Mali from those two positions. People need to understand what kind of hard work is, and then they will perfectly understand the aromatic profile that we offer with these wines. Reds are all across the world. It is not invented here. Micro-location is so important. Just check the French and you will know what we're talking about. Here, that is the rule. So fight for a piece of land that you know it's gonna give you the best grapes. This is from the vineyard where we have approximately half kilo or 40 decagrams of grape per wine. It's beautiful in the end, but it takes a lot of your energy and people. So it's all hand done. You can forget about it and you can forget about machinery. It's all you and the nature. That's why we really appreciate good glass of red, and I think the family, and not just them, but people from Northern America, they will understand these kind of reds without any trouble, and especially areas like Minnesota and of course your snowy areas. You will love a glass of this during the day and the evening especially.
I think Minnesota gets snow too.
Like you do. I know that. I've been to Toronto quite a few times. So.
By the way, I know a few people from Minnesota that either relocated to Dubrovnik or are very very fond of Dubrovnik. There's some sort of a link between Minnesota and Dubrovnik. I don't know.
The only link that I do know that they do have a Croatian population more in Northeast Minneapolis, but also, you know, we have our Fort Ripley, which is our basic training camp there. And so we have with Croatia here, we have with your armed forces. So you send them to, of all places, you send them to Fort Ripley, Minnesota, which is northern Minnesota, for their training. So I remember the first time I was in Zagreb, and I was in one of the markets, and I had something with Minnesota on it, and the woman in the cheese market there said, "My son has been to basic training camp there with the Croatian government." And so I did a little research, but yes, so we do have somewhat of a connection there as well.
Yes,
incredibly.
National Guard of Minnesota
National Guard
is, I think, coming several times a year
Yep.
to do some trainings with Croatian Army forces. So they're sure.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't know if it would be good for the discipline if they also come to Korta Katarina Winery maybe for a few days.
Right, exactly.
For the
I
harvest.
know that. We would love that. We would love that.
That would be awesome, actually. But I do want to bring up one important point. Myself and Diana, we've been doing these tastings now for not too long, but we've done a few. And we always bring up this, oh, how is this wine accepted in, North American market, Canadian market, and all that. But I want to tie that in with what, Ivo, you just said, and what I know as well about what goes into this glass. Because Dingač area and a lot of other top quality areas around this geographical region are really difficult to work on. As you said, no mechanization can be used, all done by hand, steep slopes, scorching temperatures. You have birds, you have other problems. I think you have wild boars as well as a problem on Pelešac. Yeah, thankfully they are tasty with Dingač. But so you put all this, and then you get high tannic wine that, generally speaking, really should age a bit. And we are drinking now 2012, so this has been aged for a while. And the result is amazing because tannins here are there, and they are a varietal characteristic. And I love tannins in my Plavac Mali, and I don't like it when people are trying to sort of, produce some sort of a tannin-less Plavac Mali because they think our guests would prefer that. I think people who know their wine are going to appreciate this. They're going to appreciate tannins, but when they are done well, which is the case here. So basically my whole point is you end up with a wine that has been very difficult and very expensive to produce. So you need to be able to sell that wine at a price that makes sense, because this wine cannot be cheap, nor does it need to be cheap. But then, I mean, how do you combat this? And this is basically a question for Catherine and Diana, which, Diana, you don't actually sell wine, but you do promote wine. How does this work? Do you get people who are saying, well, okay, why should I pay that much money for Croatian wine? What is Croatia as a wine country? Before they actually try it, of course. Is this a concern? Is this something that's now easier to do than a few years back? What do you think needs to be done for people to understand that this is a very, very good wine for the price? It's basically a steal when you think about the quality of the wine.
I think basically once you can get people to taste this, and it's a new varietal to them, obviously they're a wine connoisseur into wines and have a passion for wines. I think once they taste Plavac Mali, I think they're blown away. It's something new. It's something different. I think that's kind of the whole excitement around it. And so I think once they taste it, because everybody always says, well, what do you think? What do you compare it to? And then I know that our winemaker used to say Plavac Mali is Plavac Mali. So, I don't.
Exactly. I get that question a lot.
Very much so its own. So I think once you can get people to taste it and they have an appreciation for it, and you can pair it with an assortment of different foods, I think people kind of overlook the pricing of it, and they really understand what goes into the winemaking process and what a beautiful wine is. And so I think once you can get them to taste it, I think the price isn't so much an issue if they appreciate wine. So that's what
I totally agree. If someone's really, really, really loves wine, then price won't be an issue if they have a great bottle of wine. Again, if you have the consumer that's purchasing a $15 bottle of wine, so jumping up to this price may be a little bit, different for them. But I think what people need to understand is what actually goes into a bottle of wine. And me, myself, before, taking my wine studies, I did not know exactly what went into a bottle of wine. And actually knowing the region itself, and that everything is, done by hand, and just seeing the region. I remember driving the coast in Dalmatia, and Šibenik, all that, and just seeing the vineyards on the coast. I'm like, there's no way. I always wondered how do they harvest these grapes, right? And then now I'm like, okay, well, it makes sense. How come, the cost of this bottle is this, right? And people need to really look at what goes into a cost of bottle of wine. Again, it's education, right?
Well, if I may say, the costs are costs and the prices are personal thing.
True.
People will try these wines, that's for sure. All we need to be sure from our side that something really good is inside.
Yes.
Our price point for Croatian standards is not the same in Northern America. So why should we be so shy and not giving ourselves a chance? I personally think that most of the consumers will grab a bottle of this, and then they need to be they need a proof for the money they paid for, and I'm absolutely sure they will find inside these bottles. So
I have an interesting question for you. How is this wine like price point to the Croatian market?
Well, in Croatia, we are considered as one of the top wineries, so the price is not cheap, I must say. We are not the most expensive, but we are in a higher class.
Right, because I remember coming to Croatia and asking my cousin, okay, tell me, let's order the best bottle of wine. You tell me what the best bottle of wine is. You tell me, and they'd always go to, I'm like, no, don't think about cost. I just want to know the best wine. And of course, always like, cost comes into factor. I'm like, no, regardless of the price, I just want to know the best bottle of wine. I think that's what happens in Croatia is the cost factor, right? Whereas here, we want to know what is the best bottle of wine, regardless of cost, right?
Right.
Yeah, that is a very interesting question. You're right, and we could definitely go way over time, so we're not going to do that. Discussing about the intricacies of Croatian market. The thing is, typical Croatian standard is, purchasing power is unfortunately still a bit lower than that of a typical North American person. But for Croatians, when you tell them Dingač appellation or Pošip appellation, top class Plavac Mali, they are, if they know their wine, they know it's a guaranteed quality. So Plavac Mali and Dingač and Pelješac and all these names that we're talking about do have a brand awareness in Croatia, whereas we are still trying to get that in North America and a lot of other places. And yeah, people who come here try Croatian wine, they come back home and then they say, yeah, Croatian wine is great. And that's they already know it. That's it. But there's a lot more people. There's a lot more market we can reach. And I think, Catherine, as you said, it's very important for people to actually taste wine. I don't think we can just advertise it a lot and then people will understand it. They might be intrigued. But I think the key is actually events and promotion and actually trying to get these bottles. That's why, people who import wine like Sasha, people who promote wine like Diana, and of course, people who do all of that together plus make wine like Catherine and her team are so important because once people try this, and I mean, look, foreign wine connoisseurs are people who know wine, so when they try this, they will know the quality of it. So as you said, Ivo, that's, of course, we don't need to think about price once they try it. What we need to think about is how to get them to try it.
How do we get it to them? That's what we need to think about. Like, I totally agree. Like, I mean, just doing these Instagram lives and exposing people to Croatian wine has been amazing because a lot of feedback I get is like, I had no idea, honestly, that Croatia produced wine. I can't wait to try it. And whether this in the States or within Canada, I always refer them to, Croatia Unpacked or the importer in the States, right? Like, you need to get your hands on it. You need to try it, especially if you love wine. If you're a wine lover, to try indigenous grapes that are not available anywhere in the world.
Yeah.
Imagine that, nowhere in the world, right?
And it's very exciting what's happened in Toronto. I've, known Sasha for a while now, and all the efforts he's made, and now that the LC actually has a Croatian section in there. I mean, that's really
up and coming. Yes, it's coming up. Hopefully, I can't wait for that to happen. It's like to walk into a store and to see a Croatian, whatever they are going to call it, is going to be absolutely amazing.
Presentation, yes.
Yeah,
right.
Only 5 years ago, this was not the case.
Right.
So there, we need to thank this Sasha, the guy behind the curtain, listening to us.
Right.
He's
really
on.
Wonderful
job. So we just need a chance. And I can tell you from our perspective, the business is good. People are starting to regularly buy the bottles, and that means that we did a good job here. All we need is that chance. Canada is doing a good job, America is doing a good job, and I need to tell you, the COVID period was such a bad time, but the export markets for us meant a lot. And I think at the moment it is really hot stuff that not only us, of course, but many top colleagues in this business are producing. We are getting outside Croatia, and all of that awareness of the varieties is finally starting to be seen, and the results are coming. That's the most important detail. Whatever we discussed today about the wines, we see results outside Croatia. And I think that tourism and all of you who are traveling to Croatia, you are our ambassadors. And with the wines that we have from this area, I'm absolutely sure it will be just better. Just
what I really love, like, I mean, that it's indigenous grapes that are being brought into Canada. I'm sure there's other varieties, international varieties that are grown in Croatia and that are fantastic wines. But to have indigenous grapes available to us in Canada means so much for me, being Croatian, just to expose my friends and, you know, to these wines is unbelievable.
Right, we had a comment saying that there's a party coming up in Winnipeg and they're going to be promoting Croatian wine. So yeah.
All right.
I did forget to say a few things about this wine on the palate, just so you guys don't think that we're just amping the wine up because we like these two people. But actually, we're talking about beautifully rich wine. I love the tannins here. I cannot tell you how much I love the tannins here. They are so there, but they are so smooth. We're talking about a velvety wine. On the palate, a lot of both primary and secondary aromas. We're getting a lot of spiciness. We're getting a lot of fruitiness. We're getting these, as you said, Mediterranean herbs as well. But also we're getting this beautiful medium plus body, maybe even full-bodied, lessened a bit by a wonderfully persistent acidity as well, making it not overbearing, not overpowering, just a beautiful, strong, expressive Plavac Mali. Again, sort of similar to Pošip. This is not a medium, this is at least medium plus bodied wine, but the balance is there. You can go to extremes with Plavac Mali and still make it a balanced wine. But this is, I think you guys have hit the spot with this one, because the aging does wonders for this one. And the fact that you waited so long for it, that's something I am personally grateful for, because it makes for a very, very smooth ride when you taste this wine. And yeah, a lot of people have it with food, which is where Plavac Mali shines. But after a long day at work, coming home to a glass of this, I don't need any food at all, you know? A bit of dark chocolate, maybe. Exactly.
Yeah, definitely.
Exactly.
Definitely.
Dark chocolate and this,
Right.
that's it. I feel much better.
Well, I love full body wines, and this being a 2012, I find for me, it's a full body, but yet it's smooth. I think a lot of people need to realize they don't drink their red wines at a proper temperature either. Like even I didn't before, right? Room temperature for my house is maybe 21, 22, but really should be drinking between 16 to whatever, right? Should be definitely a lower temperature. So people need to take that into consideration. And I think decanting this wine will just bring out the flavors even more, right?
Yeah, decanting is important. This is another thing, unfortunately, that doesn't happen a lot in restaurants. A lot of restaurants in the summer season here, it's very tricky, because room temperature, I have to be straightforward about it. Most of the work goes on outside on the terraces, and when it's peak season, when it's peak summer, we're talking about upwards of 35 degrees Celsius. Even in the evening, it's going to be around 30 when it's like the hottest time of the year. And 30 is not room temperature. So when you do 30 degrees Celsius Plavac Mali, it's not the best. But then again, if you chill it enough, people think that it's too cold simply because of the difference in temperature. So yeah, temperature plays a big part.
For sure.
And of course, food pairing plays a big part. A lot of Croatian people, I think, Ivo, you know this yourself, are just going to have Plavac Mali with whatever they're eating, including light fish or whatever. But yeah, this is a beautiful wine. Can be paired with a lot of different foods as well. Wild boar, for example. But yeah, a lot of different meat dishes, roasts, even some seafood dishes. I wouldn't be surprised to find that this is a beautiful pairing with a nice tuna steak as well.
So besides what we have here, I'm curious, Ivo and Catherine, what would you pair this with, like in your region?
I love it with lamb. I serve it with lamb at home.
Oh, I can see that. Mm-hmm.
And I think anything that's done in a grill, that grill to it, that charcoaly to it is delicious. So
yeah, last night we had it with a couple of good steaks. So meat always a good choice. But I need to refer to Božidar's suggestion. There is a tradition in Dalmatia to drink red wine with we call it bluefish, not
Yes.
only blue. So that is not very familiar with many other markets, but it is true that local people like red wine with different types of bluefish. It's not strange. It's actually so normal for us. So this spread, all the spread that you can have on the table, different plates with this wine, I think you have so many options. Too many even.
You're right.
Mushroom.
Oh yeah, yeah. Because of course, seafood. Not all seafood is light, so there's a lot of seafood dishes out there that can take this wine actually, and because it's so smooth, it can be paired with a lot of different things. I would like to try it with maybe even an pecca octopus. I don't know.
That would be nice. Oh,
That
now
would be
I want pecca.
that's something to think about when you come here, Diana. We'll see.
Yes, I want pecca now.
We'll go on.
My
We'll go
my
nuts with
cousin,
the
my
pairings.
cousin is a chef in Trogir, so I'm gonna have him make some pecca with some Korta Katarina Plavac Mali.
Well, we will leave a number so you can give us a
For sure, you're coming over. You're all invited.
good comment. So
yeah, right.
maybe it could be
Oh,
our chef.
there's a question here. Is the winery named after Catherine?
No, it is. Korta Katarina means Catherine's courtyard, Catherine's garden. I am Catherine. My mother is also, her given name is Catherine. We call her Penny. And then I have a daughter, Catherine, and we call her the family name. Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. Great people, somebody says. I don't know. I just met them, but they seem pretty cool.
Great winery, great people, great wine. It's all good, right?
Yeah. Wine, of course. The best pairing is with nice
With people.
company. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
The best of social lubricants we as a planet ever produced. And it's been very fun talking to you guys. I think we're going to wrap it up. Thank you so much for your time. Before we leave, of course, a few sort of ending words. I mean, we only tried 2 wines. They were amazing. I'm going to come back and try a few more, and I'm going to publish that article on wineloverscroatia.com, of course. Diana, please follow her on Girls Drink Wine 2. Follow Croatia Unpacked. Follow Korta Katarina. Follow my other page, Insider Holidays, if you want to book tours, wine tours through Croatia. By the way, we are going to, this is a topic for another time, I am still planning on doing 7-day wine tours through Croatia, and that will be very interesting to...
Maybe I need to do that.
I think I need to do that, and that would be an itinerary where I could really push Korta Katarina. I would love to do Korčula and Pelješac in one day with Korta, but that would be amazing. Thank you so much, Ivo and Catherine. Ivo, a big shot on Pelješac. Everybody knows about Ivo. And Catherine, congratulations on your exquisite wines and lovely winery. I'm hoping to be able to drop by sometimes this summer, maybe to do a little article about the actual winery, maybe with accommodation, as because I never wrote about your accommodation. I really would like to put the word out that there is something very, very interesting to check out in Orebić.
Well, wonderful. We'd love to host you here, and we look forward to having you. And thank you so much for having an evening and that's joined, and you can contact us with any questions or anything about the winery or the villa. So thank you.
Thank you, Catherine. I love your family story. I love everything that you're doing with Croatian wine. And thank you, Eva. Ivo, it's been amazing. And I cannot wait to meet you all in person, hopefully in August.
Here's to that.
Cheers. Živjeli.
Živjeli, guys. See you. Thank you very much, everybody. Enjoy the rest
Bye,
of
everyone.
your
Thank
weekend.
you.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.